Sirens wail, the dome burns crimson, bombs fall where fire once raged. London is dying and being reborn in the same breath. What if a single river could script conquest, plague, inferno, blitz, and boom? Hold your breath. The Thames is about to speak. Before words, there was water. On the marshy banks, hunters traced deer across gravel terraces, knapped flint, watched tides breathe. The valley was a larder, a road, a mirror. London began as listening to reed beds, birds, and the slow patience of a river. Legionaries drive oak piles into the current, birthing a bridge and a market. Under Emperor Claudius, Londinium becomes a Roman spark, streets chalked straight, a forum sketched in hope. The river, bridled at last, begins to tax and tell. Then fury. Boudica's rebels surge, Londinium's timbers roar, coins melt, smoke writes a bitter prophecy. Roman order buckles, ash settles on a river that remembers everything. Survival becomes London's oldest trade. From cinders, a merchant city rises. Stone replaces thatch, walls gnaw the skyline. Traders bargain spices beneath a basilica shadow. Prayers whisper in a riverside Mithraeum. Londinium learns to count, pray, and plan in Latin ledgers. Empire ebbs. The legions sail. Weeds pry at stones. West of the old walls, an Anglo-Saxon town, Londonwick, hums by the strand. Open markets, beach-drawn boats, smoke from cook fires curling into sea breeze.
Long ships carve the tide. Raids scar the docks until Alfred the Great marches in, remakes the burr, sharpens streets into defenses. Markets shift behind reforged walls. The river becomes moat and lifeline at once. 1066 redraws the map. William the Conqueror plants a white tooth on the riverbank, the tower, biting down on the city's future. Stone by stone, Norman rule learns London's language, wheat, wool, and willpower. A forest of trades thickens. London Bridge sprouts houses, guild halls judge quality, bells stitch time. Along the wharfs, wool becomes coin, and coin becomes cathedrals. The city learns to be crowded and clever. Silence descends. Carts creak. Doors are chalked. Markets thin to whispers. The plague scythes through parishes. Power flickers. Wages rise from emptiness. London stares into mortality and bargains for tomorrow. A pen scratches the city into memory. Geoffrey Chaucer walks the wharf, tallying customs by day, dreaming pilgrims by night. London's tongue fattens, French, Saxon, Latin, becoming English wide enough to hold a nation. Under Tudor and Stuart skies, pageants glide and theaters bloom. South of the river, a round wooden miracle, the globe, casts spells at dusk. A player named Shakespeare nets lightning and feeds London its own thunderback. 1665 coughs, 1666 wars. As plague tally rises, sparks leap on Pudding Lane, and the city becomes a furnace. Samuel Pepys buries cheese and wine, then writes by candle, turning terror into testimony that will outlast embers.
From charcoal, geometry. Christopher Wren sketches ovals and domes. A new St. Paul's climbs like a promise. Streets widen. Brick replaces tinder. London trades fragility for form and keeps its appetite. Coffee steams. Deals spark. In smoky rooms, notes evolve into a nation's bloodstream. The Bank of England anchors trust. At Change Alley, voices invent futures. London learns to gamble with time and win, often. Georgian squares bloom. Bloomsbury, Mayfair, orderly on the surface, funded by distant sugar and slave labor. Porticoed townhouses whisper of taste, while West India docks grind the empire into profit and conscience.
Iron arrives whistling. Rails stitch suburbs to heart. Chimneys exhale a permanent dusk. In the fog stalks a reporter's conscience, Charles Dickens, turning smog into sentences that force the city to see its children. Beneath the stink, salvation. Joseph Bazalgette's sewers vault the filth away, birthing the embankment. Above, the Crystal Palace winks empire at the sun. London flexes, pipes below, pride above. Prosperity and peril share alleys. In the East End, sweatshops thrum, rent is a threat, and fear prowls as headlines chase a killer. Philanthropy, unions, and grit begin the slow mending of torn streets. The war finds the city. Zeppelins drift like pale whales over rooftops. Searchlights grip them in shaking fists. Underground platforms become bedrooms. Resolve hardens in the dust. Between wars, jazz and pylons. Suburbs unfurl along new lines. Art Deco chisels the skyline. Cinemas glow like beacons. A modern London rehearses for a future no one can quite predict.
Then the Blitz. Night after night, firestorms rake docks and domes. In the rubble, a voice steadies millions, Winston Churchill, while St. Paul's stands like a spine. The city refuses to blink. Peace returns hungry. Prefabs sprout. Cranes peck at ruins. The Empire Windrush unloads hopes and music. Brixton cooks new recipes of belonging. The tube map stretches to welcome a world. The 60s swing like a pendulum. Carnaby Street pops. Miniskirts slice tradition. Guitars make shop fronts tremble. Designer Mary Quant distills freedom into a hemline, and London sells cool to the planet. Crisis and howl. Blackouts, strikes, and a new sound, punk, rip the safety net. Vivienne Westwood pins rebellion to cloth on King's Road, while tower blocks crackle with impatience and wit. The 1986 Big Bang detonates quietly. Screens blink, trades scream. Docklands sprout mirrored monoliths. Margaret Thatcher smiles at scaffolds and spreadsheets. The city's heart learns to beat in digits and derivatives. Morning fractures. Sirens braid through tunnels. Handwritten signs offer couches and tea. A fearful day yields a stubborn chorus. We are not afraid, echoing along escalators and pavements. A summer of rings. Stratford Stadium blooms. The flame loops through boroughs. In a wink of theater, Queen Elizabeth II dives with Bond, and London grins, self-mocking and proud on the world's biggest stage. Glass climbs higher. The shard needles clouds. Silicon roundabout hums in hoodie coat. Old brick rubs shoulders with algorithms, as street food perfumes alleys once ruled by ink and iron. A vote slices the air. Parliament Square fills with flags and arguments. Headlines bite. Boris Johnson rides the crest. London's cosmopolitan mirror fogs, then clears, then fogs again. 2020 empties the streets. Sirens replace traffic. Windows turn into stages for applause. Cyclists own embankment. Foxes try doorsteps. And the city relearns the cost and grace of breathing together, apart. The Times still edits every chapter. Raids, risks, riches. Each became silt, then soil, then seed. London's genius is reinvention without amnesia. The next tide is already turning. What will we dare to build on it?